Welcome back to the Advanced Selling Podcast, the longest running sales training podcast in podcast history. I'm Bill Caskey.
I'm Brian Neal.
I was listening to a voice coach the other day, and she was saying that, talking about how much our voice communicates who we are, how we are, and just it's fascinating stuff. It's really interesting because I think today with podcasting and just videos and just how we show up and what we say, and she was identifying these different voices that we have that comes out, and she said something like the voice is the instrument of the heart, and how we are comes out in our voice. So when we're nervous, we go up a little octave like this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you today, and I can't wait to get into this. And she said that is so inauthentic. And she said salespeople and broadcasters do that all the time. They think they have to raise their voice and tighten their throat. And she said people are so sick of that. They're so turned off by that. But they don't ever say, hey, I'm really turned off by your tone of voice. They just say, thanks, but no thanks.
They just turn the channel.
And I thought that's so true, because the podcasters that I listen to and really enjoy are those people that just feel like they're talking to you. They're not in mode, any kind of presentation mode or anything. And we all go there, especially when we shoot video. We think, okay, the video camera's on, action. Yeah. Okay, baby, right. Listen, let me tell you why. And she said, that's awful. It's just not good for you.
So interesting. Because then I wonder, so one of the big, if not the biggest genre, is true crime. And when I read those, I feel like they're all too scripted for me, and they're read, but they work. But then that's also a performance, I guess. I don't know. It's just interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. She
said the one thing, and then we can move on. She said, the reason that most people don't like to listen back to something they've recorded, what?
Yeah.
She said, because sometimes people say, oh, I can't listen to myself. I just hate my voice and all that stuff. Do you know why she believes people don't like to?
No, why?
Because it reminds them of who they really are and the wounds that they've experienced in life.
Okay.
And it was really deep. But the more she talks, the more like, that's true, because whenever you have somebody who's just like way outgoing and they're a little bit too loud and a little bit too fast, you always feel like, well, what's going on there?
Yes.
What's going on? And now now that I've heard that, I will literally ask people, hey, what's really going on here, pal? Because you can't be like that. No.
Well, I'm really, really excited about our topic today, Bill. I can't wait to talk about it.
Good learner.
All right, let's get into it. I'll save my story for another day.
So did I take your story away?
I actually preferred talking about what you talked about, because my story was, I'll do it for another episode. I'll save it.
You won't save it.
Content. It's content. All we do is produce content. I got a big file.
Yeah, right. Okay. So last week we talked about mental discipline, and we defined discipline, or we redefined discipline, and go back and listen to that, because we had 4 or 5 or 6 things that you can do to help you mentally and emotionally succeed. And these are things that Brian and I have done or have seen done. And we were very honest. We said, look, I'm working on this one, but there were 5 that I think were really helpful. So today, and we divided this into mental disciplines and then operational disciplines. Operational disciplines, what we're going to talk about today, which is, okay, now we're going to go do things. We thought about things appropriately. Now it's time to take action. We're going to go through 4 or 5 operational disciplines, and well, I'll let you go and then I'll share something else.
So the last part was getting your mind right.
I'll let you go like you don't have any sovereignty to go when you want to go.
Sovereignty. This is one of my favorite TikTok things, is the sovereign citizens. The sovereign citizens who look up videos of sovereign citizens. People that think that the laws don't apply to them because of the Constitution. And they do, when cops pull them over and judges deal with them, they claim all this sovereignty. You have no control over me.
Agency.
No agency.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like that.
It's so funny too. Why do people do that? Like they crack their window down. The cops, I can hear you just fine. Name and badge number. I'm like, just roll the window down. You were speeding. Give them your license registration. Carry on. And then we make the cops the bad people.
Pick your fights.
I don't know.
Pick your fights. That's not one.
Anyway, so we did that last. It was thinking, like getting my head, heart, and soul right. Today's about doing. So I think that, again, I'm going to say the same thing I said on last episode. You already have a discipline of behavior. You already have a discipline of behavior. You need to now look in the mirror and say, is my discipline of behavior giving me what I want? If it is, keep it rolling. If it's not, tweak, modify. So it's the first thing to consider here is, okay, is my operational system, how I behave day to day, week to week, hour to hour, quarter to quarter, working for me? Mm-hmm. And if it is, keep it rolling. If it's not, tweak and modify. And I use tweak and modify on purpose because we're not looking to scrap the whole thing, which is my kind of next contextual piece is we're looking to just modify some things in your operational behavior for more discipline. So
awesome.
That's my first bit.
Awesome. Okay, good. So do you want to go through and each of us list one here and alternate like we normally do?
Yeah, let's do it.
So here's an operational discipline, and we're talking here about what we see as high performers, and so we're not talking about well, we got to be careful here. Not talking about the 23-year-old who's just out of college and looking for their first job. Not that they aren't high performers. We're talking about referencing the 45-year-old who's generating $500,000 to $1 million a year, and they're seen in their industry as a high impact player. So we're kind of going there because we have the luxury of working with those people and being those people, but working with them. I think one thing that I've noticed that high achievers do, and not in every profession, but they have committed to writing. They've committed to writing their thoughts, to constantly being in the mode of how do I get this thought out on paper? In other words, maybe it's a VP of sales, and VP of sales sees one of their people doing something really well, and instead of just saying, "Hey, man, that's good, Brian, keep it up, buddy," they'll say, "How can I circulate this and distribute this to the people? Maybe I'll write an email. Maybe I'll write an article. Maybe I'll post a video on our internal site." And so they are constantly thinking, what do I know that needs to get out? Either to my internal team or to the world itself. And that could be through LinkedIn, it could be through posting, it could be through YouTube, podcasting, whatever. But I think we do that. We think when we come together and do this podcast, we think, what have I experienced in the last week that should get out, that should find its way out?
100%. That's good. That's true. And that to me, that's rare air.
Very different.
That's rare air. That's good stuff right there. If you're looking for that, where the high people, that's where they are. They're building personal brand. It's really good.
And Alex, this is not Bill Caskey and Brian Neal talking. I mean, there's some large. Alex Hermosi is one. Alex Hermosi writes every day. He said, I write every day. James Wedmore writes every day. I mean, some of these guys who have massive personal brands. Now, I know you'll say, well, but that's their business to write. Not really. It's not really Alex Hermosi's business. Do you know who Alex is?
Yeah.
Probably know. Yeah. But he believes that anytime you can get those thoughts out of your brain into the world, it's a good thing. So
yes.
All right.
Jerry Seinfeld. I heard another Nate Bargatze talking to him, and he said, never break the chain. He's like, what do you mean? He goes, take a big calendar, print it out the whole year, write one joke a day. Once you write the joke, put the X on the calendar, never break the chain. One joke a day for 50 years. Yeah. It's great, isn't it?
I mean, think about how many jokes we've told on the internet.
I can't imagine. I mean,
we should have a joke book. Should be a giveaway.
Think of how many great jokes are sitting in Jerry Seinfeld's notebook that haven't been released to the public yet.
Yeah.
Kind of like Prince's music catalog.
True.
Okay. My first discipline that's getting more tactical here on operational discipline is the control and protection of your calendar. And I see high performers are extremely, a few things here: strategic, thoughtful, intentional, purposeful, and mindful of their calendar. They protect their time through their calendar. Mid to low performers say yes to everything, especially customers that need things immediately. And they think they're doing the right thing. They're not wrong. They're like, well, they call, they need this 911. I got to run this part over to them.
Exactly.
And a high performing person either delegates that, said, hey, the account manager person, can you run this part, up to Kokomo and get this to them? Cause I've got this other stuff going on. Or they just say, I can't today, but I can tomorrow to their customer, and they're comfortable with that. And you've got to really take a look in the mirror and say, am I running my territory? Am I running my calendar? Am I protecting my time on my calendar? Or is the opposite happening? Is my territory running me? Are my customers running me? Is my calendar running me? And most of you listening to this will be in camp B, not A. And remember, it's a spectrum, but that's a great place to get more disciplined operationally, is be better at managing and protecting your calendar. And
so do you think that the thing that throws that off is how we value our time? So if a customer calls me and says, hey, can you run over a part? And it takes me 2 hours to do that. And I say yes. And I could send an Uber driver over, or I could hire somebody for $100, but no, I don't want to spend the $100. We just spent $2,000 of your time. So doesn't the choice of what to put in my calendar and what to not put in get back to how I value my time?
100%. I can't. Maybe it's just age. I mean, this is Bill Caskey 101. This is $10 an hour work versus 100 versus 1,000 versus $10,000 an hour work. And I've taken your concept that you taught me years ago and it blown it up on steroids. And it's annoying now. I tell Steph, my wife, who's also my business partner, how often I'm like, it's time. That's I wish I would have put this in practice sooner.
Yeah.
To say that's not worth my time doing. And it isn't. You got to really look at that, because you're right. Running a part to a big customer up an hour and back, most people are like, oh, I do that. And they get to see him like, hey, Bill, how's it going? See everyone in the office. They think that's all great and wonderful. If you value your time at $1,000 an hour, it's $2,000 you just spent.
Yeah. And you complained about the $100 service fee to deliver it.
Exactly.
But you think nothing of taking hours out.
100%.
Yeah. So maybe that is part of, in fact, we should probably put that in the business planning session too, is what's the target dollar per hour that you have for 2026.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean that you can't cut the grass. It doesn't mean that if it's 5 o'clock at the end of the day and you want to run that part up and they're going to be there till 7, you can listen to the Advanced Selling podcast on the way there and back and get lots of valuable ideas. You shouldn't do it. It's consciousness about it and intention and saying, okay, now I'm getting ready to drop out here for 2 hours midday. And that's cost money.
So, absolutely.
Yeah. I've got a similar thing here. Did I just cut out?
No.
Similar thing here on planning, but it's more, are you a planner? There's a Bible verse in Proverbs, I can't recall, something about those who plan will have the wealth. And it doesn't necessarily mean I have to have my whole life planned out, but it could mean I've got my year of how I want my year to unfold. And then every day I look at my annual plan and say, okay, what am I doing today that's going to further that and help accomplish that? And I think sometimes our daily plans don't sync up with our annual plans. It's too much of a stretch. And so we say, well, what are we doing today? Well, John wants this and Brian needs to do a podcast and I've got to have a conversation with Jeremy about his bad behavior. Do any of those things sync to the annual plan? Probably not. So I would say that as you're planning your day, have your annual plan somewhere in line of sight so that you can then, after you plan your day, look at that and say, sure, I'm not doing one thing today that's going to get me any closer to those goals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the big miss. People do the big annual plan and do not connect it to their daily routine, their daily behavior, their daily discipline. That's really great.
Yeah.
It's true too. They don't. So another operational discipline that I see high performers execute better than mid to low performers is the discipline to feed and nurture their networks. Feed and nurture your networks. It's so funny how quickly that shows itself in all things. If I meet new salespeople or new sales leaders, and it shows in conversation quickly. It shows in trying to make connections and shows in this energetic intention to be helpful to someone else, where you meet a high performer and they're really looking to help you. Even if they're a customer of mine, they're looking to help me. Hey, I've got a friend I just texted her. I told her I'm in this class. She's a sales leader over here. I want to try to get you guys connected. Those are the high performing people that do that. That's right. The mid to low performers, it doesn't even register in their brain. They just don't even think that way. And so think about your nature. Again, spectrum work here is, can I amp that up a bit? If you're not naturally disciplined at that, you can create time and space in your calendar to be, and or metric goals to say, I'm going to make at least one introduction a week. I'm going to put 2 of my business friends together once a week. I'm going to do 4 a month times 12. That's 48 made connections. That's giving. That's karmic, but that's operational stuff. It's doing when you put a number to it. So
that's really good. I love that.
That's a thing.
And it's so obvious when you come across somebody who is in that mode versus in an amateur mode where it's only about them. That's all they care about is, what am I going to get? I'm not going to get anything out of it. Well, I'm not going to do it then.
True. So true.
My last one here, and then I got to run, is the idea of learning and operationally, how do we learn technology? And so we've got this AI thing that's kind of biting at everybody's heels, and it's there, and it's everywhere. It's ubiquitous right now. Ubiquitous. Yeah, that is a word
I like it.
Always wanted to use. But it is going to impact us. It already is, and you're a fool if you think it's not, and if you don't learn it and don't learn something about it. And we've talked about AI in a couple episodes here, but to me, that's one of the operational disciplines of a high achiever, is they're willing to take a look at some of these new technologies, whether it's video, phone, websites, or building web pages or webinar software, whatever it is for you. You've got to always be looking at those new technologies because your customers are using them. And it's easy to say, well, we don't like TikTok, and I'm not really on LinkedIn that much. Yeah, you're not on LinkedIn that much, but 1 billion people are.
Exactly.
Are you telling me that? Yeah. So I think the high achiever has the mental discipline. Oh no, I got to learn this. This is something I need to learn. I'm going to spend an hour a week for the next 6 weeks, and I'm going to learn it, and then I'll decide if I want to go further.
And that's the high achiever. I don't know this, and I need to. Therefore, I'm going to learn it and find my way into it. That's the difference right there. Versus like, well, I'll just keep pushing off or avoiding it, or say, well, my customers aren't on LinkedIn. They're not there. I call in teachers. They're on LinkedIn. Go put teacher into the search box in LinkedIn and see how many hundreds of thousands of responses you get. Anyway, I digress. Okay.
Well, we make excuses for ourselves when we don't want to learn or too busy watching, Netflix series.
Exactly. Right.
To really learn. And so, but John Wooden was a great example of this. He used to go to meetings when he was 85 years old with a notepad. And still wanting to learn, to learn how training works and how to prevent injuries. And he had no business there, but he was a consummate learner. He lived 90 because probably his brain was just still operating at a high level. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. All
right. We'll see you next time. Go join the Insider Group. Great, biggest bang for your buck in sales coaching across the globe, guaranteed.
Insider, December 5th, personal business planning session at advancedsellingpodcast.com/insider. Join there. I'll see you there.
All right. See you next time.
Okay, man.